An incompleted pass, did not have possession. So the Bills offense will come onto the field right now. That was an incompleted pass.
Let's go ahead and look at the end of that play. Here's Don Beebe, Cedric Mack on him. He'll just go down and hook up in this area right here. And watch him as the ball is stripped away on this play by Cedric Mack. Now, does he have possession of it? In his hands and very quickly out. They say he's got to have 2 feet on the ground, clearly in control.
And McDonald from Lonnie Young. And it's first down. That was a 4th down play. So the Cardinals take over on downs. Rosenbach under pressure. And has nowhere to go except out of bounds. And a personal foul against Seals. Seals hit him out of bounds, and it'll be an automatic first down and 15 yards marked off.
Even though it did not look like an intentional hit, you simply don't hit a man out of bounds like that. And Seals pointing to himself, he's saying it's a dumb play. Pressure from Smith inside forces Rosenbach outside. You see the stunt coming right there, and Rosenbach, who's never afraid to run, gets away from Smith here, but as he goes out of bounds, watch 96. Absolutely right. You can't hit the man out of bounds. It's very simple.
Cameraman took it worse than Rosenbach did, I think, Merlin.
And on a day like today, it hurts to take a shot like that.
Now look at the penalty story. None for Phoenix, and that's what helped do them in against Miami.
They were killed last week by their own mistakes, Dick.
First down for the Cardinals on their 36. 21-7 Buffalo. Johnny Johnson finds a hole and picks up good yardage to the 41-yard line. A gain of 5. Darryl Talley, one of the inside backers, on the stop.
For the Phoenix Cardinals, some urgency here because they'll only have the wind at their backs for another 10 minutes and 33 seconds. And Joe Bugle knows how hard it is to score against the wind today. These Cardinals have got to light the fire and get themselves going if they want to climb back into this ball game.
2nd down and 4. Johnson. And he's got the first down. Good move by Johnson, cutting up the middle, short of midfield. Carlton Bailey on the stop. What a year for Johnson. Top rookie rusher in the NFL and 3rd ground gainer in the league. And that's what he's got so far today, including a touchdown.
Ricky Prohl, I saw him before the game. He's never worn gloves in a game until today. He said, I'm going to try them out. He said, it's cold enough even for me to put gloves on.
First down at the 49-yard line of the Cardinals. Sprinting out. Tipped and caught. And that pass is complete to Ernie Jones. But it was a tip pass and a pickup of 9 yards. Shaken up Kirby Jackson, who came into the game with a hamstring pull. And he may have aggravated that there, and J.D. Williams, the rookie, has replaced him.
Laying off, giving Jones a great deal of room on this play. You see Kirby backing off very quickly and maybe favoring that hamstring a little bit. But he's in late as Rosenbach able to deliver that pass and get the first down. No, not the first down. Very close to it, though.
So J.D. Williams, who was the #1 draft pick by the Bills out of Fresno State. And of course, you know that Rosenbach, when he puts it in the air, will be going against the rookie. He has not thrown deep at all. His longest pass was to Roy Green, and that was a successful pass in the first half. They're short by that much.
Well, an opportunity with 2nd and very short, perhaps to take a little bit of a risk and go downtown with this one.
Jones goes out of the game for the Cardinals. Roy Green will line up to the top. Ron Wolfley is on the wing to the right. They'll go to the bread and butter. Johnny Johnson breaks a couple of tackles and continues to impress everyone. A first down to the Bills 31 and a gain of 12. Carlton Bailey and John Hagee on the tackle that time.
Some excellent blocking up front as he ran right in behind Lewis and Lance Smith and Tootie Robbins on the right side. Good blocking all up front for this line. Of course, Johnny Johnson so quick in taking advantage of what you give him.
3 wide receivers. Roy Green to the bottom of your picture now on first down at the 30. And Johnson again. How many times, and it's worked, I guess, for the Cardinals, although the 2-6 record belies that, can you continue to pound it away when you know you got to get back in the game and have to throw a bit?
Very good question, although a big part of the plan today for the Cardinals is play-action passing. And it's something we ought to be alert for at this point in the game because they're running the ball successfully on this drive. A good opportunity perhaps to fake the ball into Johnny Johnson's hands and to go up over the top.
Joe Bugle telling us last night, he says, we've been a running team, but we're going to have to put the ball in the air a little bit. You're right. This is a good spot for it. Second down and 8 on the 28 of Buffalo. No play action, but he's going to throw, and the pass is caught, and that is going to be a touchdown. And Ernie Jones has grabbed it, a touchdown for the Cardinals. And they're back in the game, a 28-yard strike to Ernie Jones, his first touchdown reception of the year.
A chance to look from the right-hand side of your screen. Ernie Jones streaking down in a post pattern, comes to the inside right here, and there he is. Watch how close to the ground that football was as Jones scoops it up. J.D. Williams, the rookie. You see a rookie in the ball game, you go looking for him. That's exactly what Rosenbach does here. Jackson out of the ball game, and they go after the rook and find themselves a touchdown. They may be looking to see if he had control of that football at the end of that pass. Here's the end of that play.
The play will stand. It is a good catch. And he was in for the score. The impetus brought him in, and now Al Del Greco trying the extra point. The kick is good. So with 7:42 to go, the Cardinals, trying to take advantage of the wind at their backs, have scored and now trail the Bills by a single touchdown.
By 10:30 tomorrow morning, one company will guarantee delivery of your overnight air packages to more people, places, and businesses than anyone else in the business. UPS introduces 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. 62,000 trucks. No waiting.
A Ranger never takes the easy way out.
You're reaching deep inside you for things you've never known. Go!
That's why getting into the Rangers is tough and the training is tough.
Be all that you can be.
So it makes me feel like I'm part of something really special.
Be all that you can be.
And I'm not the only one.
Get your life in the Army.
Buying a new car is a big step. With many car makers, the minute you drive it out the door, you may feel like you're on your own. But at Oldsmobile, you're covered by the Oldsmobile Edge, the most comprehensive owner satisfaction program in the industry. It's standard on every new Oldsmobile. We're with you every step of the way.
It's a new generation of old.
A doubleheader. First, the resurgent Longhorns battle TCU. Yeehaw! Then a clash of SEC powers. Tennessee collides with Ole Miss next Saturday.
Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen back here at Buffalo, where the Bills lead now 21-14. Ernie Jones on the receiving end of a 28-yard touchdown pass from Rosenbach. Del Greco kicking off. Don Smith at the 6-yard line returns it for the Bills. And he is stopped at the 28-yard line, and Buffalo going on offense again. We want to remind you, coming up next, The Giants, one of the 2 unbeaten teams in the NFL, along with the 49ers, against the LA Rams. And last year in the divisional playoff, in overtime, Jim Everett finds Flipper Anderson, who caught the ball for the touchdown and kept right on going into the tunnel as the Rams beat the Giants 19-13.
Set off a celebration in Los Angeles. Well, they would like to celebrate today. And if they can win against the unbeaten Giants, you better believe they will.
See how the Giants react to being on the coast. Sometimes they lose their toughness when they get out there. We'll see. First down on the 28. Thurman Thomas going outside. Gets good yardage. Thomas gets the first down and more. And Cedric Mack with the hard tackle. But not before Thomas picks up 19 yards. And is almost to the 100 mark for the game.
Tremendous explosion on this play. The counter play, the counter gap play, a play you see Phoenix run all the time. Wolford coming around the corner, Richer coming over, and Thurman Thomas with a little counter step just booms in behind some great blocking.
And 102 yards for Thurman Thomas. His big day was against the Jets in their first meeting with 214. Kenneth Davis is into the ballgame, and he carries. Former Green Bay Packer gets it to midfield and a gain of 4 yards. Ken Harvey, the outside linebacker, on the stop. And we've got that rain coming down again.
Now we watched Wolford and Richter come around on the other side. Now let's watch the counter gap. Howard Ballard, number 75 and 65. John Davis leaving on this one. Ballard getting to the outside, gets past Davis, says, move out of the way. Watch this. Boom. A little shot right there on Tim McDonald. A 326-pounder leading that play. Hey, I'd get out of the road.
He's called the house, and he put a shot on Thane Gash against the Browns that they're still talking about. Kenneth Davis still in the game, carries, going off the left side, ridden out of bounds, short of the first down by about a yard. Tim McDonald there.
It looks like he may have picked up the first down or very close to it. No, he's going to be a little bit short. But what is important about this drive is that it's into the wind. They're running the football, eating up the clock, and all of the touchdowns so far in this game have come with the wind at the team's back. So if they can take the time off the clock, they'll take away the opportunity that the Cardinals have to put another score up. How do you hold the football if your hands are cold? That's one way.
It's not going to move that way. 5.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Mitch Farrat and Glenn Parker.
That's the jumbo unit in there.
Package. And the give is to Davis, and I don't think he's got it.
It's all in the mark. He may have it, Dick. Very, very close. All in the mark at this point.
Very close.
If he doesn't have it, we don't have to worry about that, I don't think.
They're going to call it first down. Well, that was
It wouldn't
decisive.
have surprised me to see Marv Levy go for it at that point. Punting has been so treacherous today. Levy go for it, but he doesn't have to worry about it.
Big
First and 10.
And Thomas fumbles, and Jim Kelly covers it back in midfield. He'll lose 7 yards that time. Carl Hairston had jarred the ball loose, the oldest player in the NFL.
It's raining again, and as cold as it is, the surface of that ball has to be slick, icy. And you've seen that ball, how hard it is to hang on. Carl Hairston, Big Daddy, gets inside and gets a shot at the football. Watch him coming right here, number 98. He just slapped inside. Jim Kelly showing some real alertness as he pounced on that football.
And as we say rain, we get a few flurries. Got a combination. We've had everything today. 2nd and 17. Kelly's pass complete to Lofton. That's his first catch of the game. On a slant inside the 40-yard line, a gain of 12 yards. Jay Taylor on the stop, short of the first down. And right now for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
Well, Dick, at New Orleans, Reuben Mays from 4 yards out for a touchdown. And Craig Hayward has just scored again for the Saints. It is now a 27-7 Saints lead in the third quarter. Back to Buffalo, where Dick and Merlin, I hope you're staying warm.
Well, if the season were to end today, Tampa Bay would be a playoff team, but they're losing to New Orleans now, and they could move out of that. This is going to be a tremendous fight for all the playoff berths.
And they have to face San Francisco next week. Oof. 3rd and 5. Big down here.
Kelly, Lofton.
Big play by Lofton. Wow. 2 plays in a row by James Lofton. Marv Levy spoke yesterday so eloquently about the addition of Lofton. He means so much. There he is, number 80. He is in the slot here. Just a chance at the top of your screen. Watch him now. He starts inside and breaks outside when Kelly is in trouble. He looked back for the defender, knew exactly where he had to go, and just gathers that football in for the first down. What a gentleman.
And a scholar. He went to Stanford.
Yes, he did. A marvelous addition for this football team.
1st and 10 at the 27. Thurman Thomas. Great balance by Thomas as he gets inside the 25. Waller and Jacks. Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, and the crowd upwards of 75,000 being treated to all the elements, plus a Buffalo lead, 21-14. The time remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen as the Bills try to make it 7 in a row.
The Bills on this drive overcoming a couple of big penalties and the fumble, a huge penalty and the fumble to keep this drive alive and eat the clock.
They run the ball up the middle to Thomas. 1st down, Buffalo. A very important drive for the Bills. Going into the teeth of the wind. Tim McDonald on the tackle. And the Bills will have the wind at their backs in the 4th quarter. The only score here in the 3rd quarter was a touchdown from Rosenbach to Ernie Jones. 3rd time this year. He's gained 100 or more yards. His big game of the year against the Jets, 214 yards. 1st and 10 on the Cardinals 17. And a timeout.
Phoenix, bench phones are down.
So now they're going to have to make sure that the Bills don't use the phones because the Cardinals are having trouble.
Well, they just stripped them off both sides, and the thinking is if you have a disadvantage on one side, you make it equal. You take the phones off on the other side. Won't really hurt the Bills that much. They have both of their coordinators on the sideline. However, for the Phoenix Cardinals, both of their coordinators upstairs.
So Joe Bugle has been informed that the headsets are off right now while we have the problem. Still have some precipitation here. We've had some rain. We've had some snow flurries, even sleet, but we've had wind from the start today.
It's the kind of day you like to be out on the field. You don't want to be standing on that sideline because if you're playing, you can stay warm out there on the sideline, even with one of those blankets around you and with the heater, it is still cold.
Kind of day you'd rather be up here.
Yeah.
Good thing about Bob McElwee and why he's an outstanding official is that he informs the crowd of the delay and why they're having a delay so that the crowd doesn't wonder. 1st and 10 on the 17. This is the 10th play of the drive coming up. Thurman Thomas barrels inside. Ken Harvey on the stop. Talking to Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator. Merlin, we asked him what's the key to the defense. He says have the offense hold the ball a long time. That helps any defensive unit.
Well, his theory very simply was we'll be fresh when we come off the field, and they've got to love this guy. And we've got an injury as John Davis, very slow getting off the turf.
This is how the roomy new Cutlass Supreme SL looks after traveling 300 highway miles on just 10 gallons of gas. And this is how Honda Accord looks after the same challenge. Well, if it hadn't run out of gas 20 miles back, you'd see that it's smaller, and it's blue. Next trip, Dad, it's yours. Who says you can't get great gas mileage in a roomy, comfortable car? Cutlass Supreme is one car that does it all and does it right.
This is the new generation of old.
Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
By using a complete address, you can help us deliver even better on a promise we made a long time ago.
We deliver for you.
Oh, 5 more minutes. It's our anniversary. Let's call in sick.
Can't.
Oh, 10 years deserves something.
True.
Haven't I made you coffee for 10 years?
Haven't I had to drink it? Now, come on.
Why?
Show your friends this. Happy anniversary.
Oh, it's beautiful.
The Diamond Anniversary Band. This year, tell her you'd marry her all over again.
Okay, I'll show him. Tomorrow.
It's the honeymoon of a lifetime. Audrey Meadows and Art Carney present 2 episodes not seen for 38 years.
All right.
The Honeymooners Anniversary Special, Monday at 10.
Number 74 on the left is Glenn Parker, a rookie from the University of Arizona. He will replace John Davis at right guard, who left the field. The 11th play coming up, 2nd and 5 on the 12. And here's Thurman Thomas off the weak side, and Thomas inside the 10, short of a first down by about 2 yards at the most. Eric Hill on the stop.
Parker called on quickly as they run again that counter gap play, and Joe Bugle on the other sideline has got to say, hey, that looks very much like the play we run. And certainly it is a play run for so many years by the Redskins when Bugle was there. It's a play that they run very well here in Buffalo.
112 yards on the day for Thurman Thomas, one of the best in the league.
We said it earlier, this drive's so important for 2 reasons. It takes the time off the clock, takes the opportunity that the Cardinals have to use the wind at their backs.
Just a defense arrest. A bobble by Kelly and the handoff. They do not get the first down. Rod Sadler on Thurman Thomas's handoff, and that'll end the quarter. But the Bills see what they'll do as we go to a 4th quarter with the wind at their backs now. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter here at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park with the score. The Bills 21 and the Cardinals 14.
Whether I'm racing 200 miles an hour or driving 55, I don't accept compromises. You shouldn't either. Cars should be responsive yet fuel efficient. Roomy yet sleek. Not to mention affordable.
Well, surprisingly, one car does all that and more. The new Cutlass Supreme.
And in the coming months, we'll show you when it does it all and does it right.
New generation of old.
You know, the celebrity business isn't all it's cracked up to be. Sure, I get to travel all over the country, but I'd rather just hang out and have a Miller Lite with the guys. Having another round of lights? Me and the boys don't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. Hey, thanks. We want the less filling beer that really tastes great. Right, guys? Hey, anybody for a game of pool? All right, well, let's go.
Get the picture? When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Your break, Dan?
A little room, boys.
You can spot someone who saved money with a second-rate antifreeze a mile away. Not all antifreeze is the same. Nothing beats Presto. And that's something you might appreciate down the road.
Barbecue? Summer's over. Bag it. McDonald's? Hey, McRib. Let's see. McDonald's? Jump.
Jim Kelly told me yesterday his hands are always warm. Well, they're cold here as he fumbles the snap and then alertly picks up the football, still is able to get the handoff. Thurman
by a 25-yard field goal to start the final period.
And they didn't even have the wind at their backs in all those 4th quarters.
That's true. 12 for 19 on the year, but inside the 40, he's been pretty good.
But this is treacherous weather to try and kick in. Snap and hold have to be perfect. That's a new holder.
Frank Reich is holding. Backup quarterback. Adam Lingner is the snapper. The kick is good. And the Bills add to their lead. 3 seconds into the fourth quarter. And we'll return to Rich Stadium after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
John Davis being tended to on the sideline. The Bills lead it now 24-14. And Scott Norwood will be kicking off.
They're reinforcing, strapping up that knee of John Davis.
7 minutes and 45 seconds. You talked about the drive toward the tail end of the third quarter. And it gave the Buffalo defense a good rest. And, of course, the wind changed. As far as the Bills are concerned,
they did exactly what they needed to do with that long drive, and they did it, most of it, with the running game, although James Lofton had a couple of huge catches.
We saw Steve Tasker. He's had a great day in many respects for the Bills. Vaisa Kahima and Larry Centers are back deep for the Cardinals.
And talk about swirling winds. There are a couple of balls right here. Watch what happens to those balls as the swirling winds reach in just before Norwood's kick. Look at them start to move. Creeping out on the field. The official doesn't dare move because and here they come. They're coming toward the line of scrimmage. Look at this. Stop it right there. We got one here and one a little bit longer. They'd have been right out underneath people's feet.
I thought you could only play with one.
I don't know if I've seen that ever in my time. In
Rosenbach on first down. Overthrows. Intercepted by John Hagee. And Hagee brings it back deep into Cardinal territory. First interception for John Hagee.
We talked about the risks of throwing deep into this wind. You simply cannot control the football. And Rosenbach takes the risk here and simply rifles the football over the head of his receiver. And Hagee, who plays as deep as any in the NFL at that free safety spot, is simply waiting to pick this up. Watch the center fielder, number 22, John Hagee, just waiting for that ball to come down. Roy Green couldn't have got that one with a stepladder.
And that's John Hagee's first career interception and the third turnover against the Cardinals. And it'll be a first down for Buffalo on the 22. And a penalty has been assessed against the Cardinals.
Half the distance to the goal line.
And a personal foul has been charged against Jim Richer. No, check that. It's against Lewis.
Against the center. And Joe Bugle's shaking his head on the sideline.
That's the first penalty against the Phoenix Cardinals today. Well, they took care of that aspect, but 3 turnovers and Rosenbach with the interception.
Rosenbach saying that ball just took off on him as he threw it into the wind, and it just nosed up and took off on him.
First down on the 11 now for the Bills. Thurman Thomas. No, it's a fake. Kelly's going to throw. And it's touchdown, Buffalo. Don Beebe. That's the man he beat, Cedric Mack, and it's his first touchdown reception of the year. What a great fake by Jim Kelly.
When the running game is going, you must honor that fake. And look at how many Cardinals are stacked around Thomas. Kelly, all kinds of time to throw, and Beebe able to wrestle that ball out of the hands of Cedric Mack. There's Cedric Mack, 47, Beebe coming across, and Mack has good position, but he simply could not get the ball out of Beebe's hands.
Scott Norwood with Frank Reich, the holder. And it's 31-14 Buffalo. Tremendous contributions showing the Buffalo Bills depth at its best today.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Not long ago, Honda and Toyota were known for the highest mileage. But today, there's Geo, the most fuel-efficient line of cars and trucks in America. Get to know Geo at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Getting to know.
Getting around anywhere these days isn't easy. Getting a long-distance call through on AT&T is, even from non-AT&T public phones. Just dial 10-ATT-0 and the phone number.
AT&T.
10-ATT-0. Just to make getting through your day a little easier. AT&T. How can we help you?
If you're serious about whole grain, remember, Wheaties has it. These guys don't. Better get your whole grain.
You better eat your Wheaties.
The premium choice.
And for the second time this year, as you look at Don Beebe, the recipient on that play, Jim Kelly has thrown 4 touchdown passes in one game, and the Bills lead it 31-14.
Even more impressive, perhaps, to realize that Kelly is without his top receiver on the ball game with an ankle injury early.
Scott Norwood kicking off. Larry centers his back, and this sails into the end zone for a touchback. Merlin, you've been talking about the effects of cold weather. Well, you made me put on these gloves. Why?
Well, one of the things that's very interesting to me, you see a lot of the players wearing these gloves, especially the receivers. Well, they've outlawed stickum in the NFL. The stuff the receivers used to put on their hands, it's in the gloves now. These gloves are tacky gloves. You can feel it as you put your fingers together. Helps them catch the fall. Lofton, a few minutes ago, hanging on the football, I think that helped him. And if you're a Buffalo player, there's something else. If you're doing high fives during this game, it doesn't hurt as much.
That's right. Let's do a low five while we're at it. First down for the Cardinals on the 20-yard line. Rosenbach threw an interception last possession. Johnny Johnson fumbles. And the Bills have recovered again. And they've broken open this game and are threatening once more. 4th turnover by the Cardinals. Leon Seals recovered the loose ball.
Early in this ball game, the Phoenix Cardinals showed us clearly that they knew how to play in the cold. But as the conditions have continued to deteriorate, they have made a couple of costly errors. First, the interception by Rosenbach, and right there, it's Leonard Smith slapping inside against his old teammates to knock that ball free. That's one he'll enjoy with relish when they look at the films tomorrow. Make that tapes. They don't look at films anymore.
No. 1st and 10 on the 27-yard line of the Cardinals. Less than a minute into this 4th quarter, and Kenneth Davis ridden out of bounds by Lonnie Young inside the 20-yard line. Davis is getting Thurman Thomas a breather right now. Kelly with 4 touchdown passes, equaling his career high and marvelous percentage once again. Thomas getting a rest maybe for the rest of the day with 112 yards rushing, as Buffalo has scored 14 points off Phoenix turnovers. 2nd down and 1 on the 18. Davis. Well, Dante Osborne had the first shot out of bounds, but he's got the first down to about the 16-yard line. Lonnie Young on the stop. And when you consider what Jim Kelly has done today, he has thrown touchdown receptions to McKeller, Rolle, Tasker, and Beebe. Those are not the names you'd expect to hear when you look at Kelly's touchdown, considering the likes of Reed and Thomas and Lofton.
One of the things that Kelly has done so well, and we talked about it earlier in the day, was that he has used his resources so well, taking advantage of all of the people who have been able to produce for him, not only this year, but particularly in this day, as you said. Some strange names there. But it doesn't matter who scores, you get the points anyway.
1st and 10. Davis. Davis still going inside the 10-yard line. Garth Jacks on the tackle. Former Green Bay Packer picks up 8 yards that time, and he had a very fruitful fourth quarter last week in the blowout against the Cleveland Browns.
You saw the Cardinals trying to strip the ball on that last play. There's a desperation for them now. They're trying to force the turnover.
Buffalo has scored 3 touchdowns in 4 possessions inside the 20. Of course, the Cardinals scored the first touchdown when Kelly fumbled. They had a 1st and goal at the 7. And they took the early lead. 2nd down and 2. They go to Davis again. He's got the 1st down to the 5-yard line. Freddie Joe Nunn that time for the Cardinals. Bills able to run as they wanted to against the Cardinal defense today.
Well, and they're spreading the opportunities around as Davis, whose name does not often get mentioned, having a chance here with a comfortable lead in the fourth quarter to show why they're so pleased to have him on the roster. And very important, Dick, to use your people. Give them a chance to get into the game situation. Be productive. You never know when somebody's going to go down with an injury.
1st and goal at the 5, and Davis sent back to about the 11 or 12.
Rejected by the Cardinal defense on that play. He ran right into about 5 white shirts. Joe Bugel proud of the way his team, I'm sure, is not quitting in this ball game, although I'm sure he is also frustrated with the turnaround here in the second half.
Second and goal, the ball back on the 9-yard line. 2 tight ends for the Bills. Kelly's pass incomplete. Intended for Don Beebe, who caught the last touchdown pass, and it was good pressure that time by the linebacker Garth Jacks.
Jacks has been getting penetration during the day, several plays, and able to get Kelly before Kelly really had a chance to get the receiver open. Third and long yardage.
3rd and goal at the 9. Davis comes out, and Don Smith comes in. Beebe out to the left, Lofton to the right. And in the slot,
McKeller, the tight end.
Here's the pass. Complete penalty marker down on Lofton.
Cedric Mack has had a tough day, Dick. He just grabbed James Lofton before that ball ever arrived, and the flags came flying.
Pass interference. 47 defense. 1st down.
It'll be 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
Coming in from the top part of your screen, number 80, James Lofton, streaking inside, and Cedric Mack had already grabbed him, wrapped his arms around him before that ball arrived.
It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. Mueller and Davis, and it's going to be Jamie Mueller. Touchdown, Buffalo, and they roll it up on the Phoenix Cardinals. The first touchdown rushing today by the Buffalo Bills, leading now 37-14. Highest scoring team in the NFL, showing why.
McKeller right here is going to come in, and he ends up being the trapper from the outside. Big number 84. Watch him coming in motion. Now, diving into the line, just jumps on his man inside. But that's all raw power as Jamie Mueller able to plow it into the end zone.
Penalty marker down.
Now this is a frustrated Phoenix Cardinal team right now.
Necessary roughness, 58 defense. That foul will go on a kickoff.
Frustration. Hill, the linebacker. It is 37-14, and they'll mark it off. Prior to the kickoff, Norwood, who kicked 6 conversions in 6 attempts last week against the Browns, when the Bills won 42-0. Now looking for the 38th point of the game for Buffalo. And it's 38-14. And the fight is broken out.
Whoa.
Butch Rolle of Buffalo, he was involved earlier. Rod Sadler in the middle there. They've got to separate them.
I've often thought that's where officials sometimes earn their money. I don't think I'd want to put myself in between those guys.
10 minutes and 43 seconds remaining. And the Bills have everything in their favor. The win at their backs, leading 38-14. And Joe Bugle's got to keep his team together here.
Last year, more truck owners switched to Chevrolet than to any other truck.
Listen to the heartbeat.
Nearly 200,000 in just 1 year. So if you're still not driving a Chevy, what are you waiting for? More people are winning with
The heartbeat of America. Today's truck is Chevrolet.
By 10:30 tomorrow morning, one company will guarantee delivery of your overnight air packages to more people, places, and businesses than anyone else in the business. UPS introduces 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. 2,000 trucks. No waiting.
You're the top. You're the Coliseum. You're the top. You're the Louvre Museum. You're the best in beer. That fact is clear. Each drop. You're number one. Second to none. You're the top.
Heineken, America's #1 imported beer. Amstel Light, America's #1 imported light beer.
You're a cut above. The taste we love. Each drop. You're the best of both worlds. You're the top.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. The First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze. And by UPS, now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery.
Let's see the skirmish and how it all started, Merlin.
They're trying to get people out from inside. Ken Harvey, number 56, ends up pulling Mitch Farad out of there as he grabbed him by the shoulder pads, and that got Butch Rolle excited. He's over there pushing Sadler. Nobody fouled on that play. Well, yeah, they did. I guess we did get a penalty on it.
And the kickoff going deep into the end zone. Larry Centers will down it there. As the wind and the rain and the elements continue to play havoc. Well, a reminder that next Sunday is another doubleheader day of NFL action here on CBS. Begins at 12:30 Eastern. And a visit with Mike Ditka and Dan Reeves, former teammates and still close friends. They're two of the league's most successful and intense coaches who share more in common than Super Bowl appearances. They're both back from heart problems. That's on the NFL Today next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern.
Well, knowing those gentlemen pretty well, hard to believe what they say they're going to do. They said they're going to ease up a little bit, going to pull back a little bit.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, much so.
Anthony Thompson in the game. The rookie from Indiana trying to protect the ball. is stopped by Cornelius Bennett. Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. 17-7. The Bills have outscored the Cardinals in the second half, winning going away, even though there's plenty of time remaining in the fourth quarter. They look the part of a division leader at 7-1. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen as the fans and the players battling the elements today. Cardinals on their 24-yard line. Johnny Johnson getting a breather, and Anthony Thompson wrapped up by Cornelius Bennett. Turnovers have been rampant in this game, and the Bills have capitalized on 3 of the 4 turnovers with touchdowns.
Well, you remember the Bills turned it over twice early, but then they came right back and forced the turnovers to pick up the TD. Fumble resulting in a fumble. We've had a lot of them today, and then 2 touchdowns at the end of this ball game. And as we approach the end of this ball game, I think for some of the players on the field, they hope that gets here pretty quick. It is getting colder out there.
Terrence Flagler checks in. Number 32 out of the backfield for the Cardinals. Rosenbach down. He was being chased by Bruce Smith. And he'll get the sack, his 3rd of the game, 11 on the year.
One of the things that makes Bruce Smith so dangerous is the fact that he can spin out of those situations. We got another fight going on over there now. Boy, this game is erupting into a nasty affair here at the end for both of these teams. Leon Seals again at the center of that controversy.
A loss of 10 on the play.
It's 4th and 16.
Let's watch Bruce Smith spin on this play. Watch him, number 78. He takes Lewis Sharp upfield and then spins back to the inside. Sharp can't find him, and although he can't get a good handle right there on Rosenbach, that slick field claims another turf. Slick turf claims another victim.
Or whatever.
Or whatever.
And the clock is run down, and we may have a delay of the game called here. By the way, that is the 2nd sack, not the 3rd against Bruce Smith. But he's got 10 on the year, and he's having a Pro Bowl kind of season. So another 5-yard penalty. If you're Rich Camarillo and you've got elements in your face and wind in your face, already down 38-14, that's a tough spot to be in.
I don't think you want to kick the ball, but Camarillo has kicked here many times. He kicked in New England against the wind. Well, and against the Buffalo special teams, who blocked already 5 kicks this year. Oof.
Tied with Kansas City for the lead. Now look at the scene.
Oh, look at Camarillo just praying that he can get his hands on the ball. Ooh. I wouldn't want to be the center here either, trying to snap it back there. Connie Kawhi is the guy who's going to get in the football.
Standing at the goal line is Camarillo. I don't know how our cameraman can keep the camera straight. Here's the wind, knocks it down. It bounces at the 26. And the Bills will have the ball at the 26. One of the best punters in the league. You can't blame him. That's a 12-yard kick. It'll hurt his average, but I give him a lot of credit. 12 yards. Timeout. Tough day for Joe and the boys.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The heart of the Vikings defense in the late 60s was their defensive line. Workmen like Gary Larson freed defensive ends Jim Marshall and Carl Eller to crash the pass pocket. And number 88, Alan Page, was the only defensive player ever to be named the league's most valuable player. Individually, all 4 had unique skills. Together as teammates, they were the Purple People Eaters, and the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
Here's another demonstration of Chevy versus Ford. We're loading up these full-size pickups with recyclables. Chevy has a standard payload advantage of over 400 pounds.
That's a pile of payload the Ford leaves behind.
No wonder so many truck owners recycle their trucks for Chevys. More people are winning with
the heartbeat of America.
Now it's easy to win with the heartbeat.
.8:33 remaining in the fourth quarter with the Bills leading 38-14. And they've got the ball following a 12-yard kick into the wind, and Frank Reich has replaced Jim Kelly. There's the rain and snow. Many of the fans starting to leave, but that section hasn't moved.
No, you got to give these fans some credit for still being in the stands. Kelly, I think, handed the ball off to his backup, said, Frank, your turn. Reich has gone in and a couple of times, in fact, won some ball games and relieved Kelly last year and said, hey, I didn't realize it was so hard when they're beating on me. And Kelly said, that's why I get the big money. They're beating on me all the time. Well, Reich into the ball game here.
And the give is to Kenneth Davis. And a reminder, coming up next, against the Rams. And Giants want to reverse a bad trend for them. The Rams have had their number lately.
Well, the Rams certainly have done well against them in the past 3 years. You look at those 88 and 89 and 90 numbers, and look at what Jim Everett has been able to do. 9 TDs and only 3 interceptions in those last 3 games. But I got to tell you, this is not that Ram team that stomped over the Giants the last couple of years. They are really having their trouble, and especially on defense.
Second down and 8 at the 24. Carwell Gardner, second round pick, 230 pounds, is in the backfield now. Here's Gardner. 7:35 remaining. By the way, Frank Reich came in to mop up at the end of the last game against the Cleveland Browns and completed 1 pass. And there is a fella who played only 1 year of college football, played basketball with Charles Barkley in high school. We're talking about Howard Ballard.
Interesting character. The offensive line has a deal with Jim Kelly on not being sacked in a game. And, of course, they encourage him to throw the ball away when he gets a little heat. And Ballard sent him 2 dozen roses at the end of last week and with a little note that said, remember to throw the ball.
Who would remember the flowers?
I would remember the flowers, yeah.
Third down and 5 at the 21. Right, nowhere to go. And that'll bring up 4th down.
You've got to wonder what you're going to do on the 4th down here. Maybe you give your field goal unit a chance to practice in this kind of weather. They're going to see some of it later in the year. Well, maybe not. Levy may decide that there are enough points on the board right now.
Reich in relief of Jim Kelly, who threw 4 touchdown passes. His career high is 5 scores against the Houston Oilers.
Just a final tag to that story on Ballard. He lives in Ashland, Alabama in the offseason, and he works for the Sheriff's Reserves down there. And one of the things he did in the offseason, he bought him a new sheriff's car down there. He said, hey, they used to give us the old beat-up cars. He said, we needed a new one.
He's in good with the law enforcement folk. Kenneth Davis carries the ball, and that'll turn it over to the Cardinals. So Marv Levy not about to do anything fancy with a 38-14 lead and getting up slowly.
Tim McDonald, right, the man who replaced Leonard Smith as a safety when,
that's bad,
being helped from the field. Their leading tackler this year on defense, a Pro Bowler, an All-Pro safety, and that is a little bit frightening.
All-Pro safety, one of the strengths of the Cardinals defense. They don't have a great pass rush, so they depend a lot on McDonald and Young, and they have delivered. And the Cardinal defense has not been all that bad this year, despite the 2-6 record coming in, and now 2-7.
Well, this has been a team that has had to struggle all year, and they have fought, and I think partly because of the upbeat and positive attitude of Joe Bugle. But the one thing that would scare me right now, if I were Joe Bugle, is they have had a lot of tough losses on this season. I don't think any loss tougher than the one they suffered against the Giants just a few weeks ago. A game that we had an opportunity to watch in which they played so very well, only to watch a field goal take them out of it with 3 seconds to go in the game. The concern I would have if I were Joe Bugel is that my team would lose heart, begin to accept losing as some of the Cardinal teams in the past have.
Saw Leonard Smith go over to McDonald, former teammates, as he was carried off. First down for the Cardinals, and Anthony Thompson, the rookie, getting some playing time. #1 draft pick. Tough spot to be in. Out of bounds after a couple and really given a shot. Thompson didn't like it at all. Leonard Smith. There's Jim Kelly's final numbers, and he shouldn't drop too much from the high ranking, should he?
Has an excellent spot as a passer in the statistics of the league, and I think those numbers will boost him up. 4 TDs, 1 interception on the day. Impressive again how well he was able to handle this bad weather. You remember a couple of those critical passes he threw against the wind today.
How about Minnesota beating Detroit after knocking off Denver? Thompson for a couple of yards. Kelly came into the game as the #1 rated passer in the AFC and 3rd behind Phil Simms and Joe Montana in the NFL. Winding down to 5 minutes to go in the game.
Quite a few substitutions on the field for the Buffalo Bills defense. Up front, Ballninger in there. Lodish in there. Mark Pike, a whole new defensive line.
Marfkas Patton, number 53. 3rd down and 5. And the pass overthrown, intended for Roy Green. That'll bring up 4th down. Camarillo will come in to kick again.
We talked earlier about the war going on the field between Bruce Smith and Lewis Sharp. Showed you some of that as Smith able to get in for a couple of sacks on the day, and Sharp able to hold him out on a couple of critical downs. When you put 2 great players nose to nose, both usually come out of the game feeling that they have not had a great day.
That's a good point. Camarillo will kick. Last one went 12 yards. Al Edwards is back deep for the Bills. That kick doesn't go much more than the last one, and it takes a Buffalo roll out of bounds inside the 40.
Every kicker should have to come and kick into this wind. I think there should be an asterisk by the kickers who kick in bad weather and outside.
2nd straight 12-yard punt for Camarillo. Next Saturday at 12 Eastern, college football doubleheader, and it all begins with Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa. They've done an outstanding job in our studios. Game 1, Texas against TCU. If Texas wins 2 of their last 3, they've got the Cotton Bowl. And in the SEC, well, the winner of the Ole Miss Tennessee game controls its own destiny, and the winner goes on as the host team in the Sugar Bowl. Big doubleheader next Saturday on CBS Sports. Harwell Gardner is the running back, first down on the 39 of the Cardinals. Played for Howard Snellenberger in his college days, picks up a couple. Bell and Bavaro on the stop.
He was a defensive lineman, and Snellenberger said no, he's got too much speed, too much talent. Took him out, put him in the offensive backfield, and he said he reminded him a lot of Alonzo Highsmith. Snellenberger was his coach at Miami, moved him from the defensive line to a running back position, and that story continued on for there as Highsmith today is playing for the Dallas Cowboys. But he was very high on this young man, and they were able to get him, bring him in here, and look forward to having some productive times out of him.
Well, they got a horse on the offensive line and a horse in the backfield.
They certainly do. They like his blocking ability as well as his running ability.
And a timeout called by the Cardinals. Now that's a strange call. Very strange. For a team that would like to see this game end forthwith.
I don't think it can end soon enough for all of the players.
Now the Buffalo Bills will win their 7th in a row and go 8-1 on the year, but take a look at the last 3 weeks of the season when they play the Giants on the road, Miami here, and at Washington. That's going to be a big test for the Bills.
And leave that up for a second. The strange about that, they always talk about not allowing the Bills to play at home in that December time frame. They want to put them on the road, so the weather's going to be better. You're going to tell me the weather in New York and the weather in Washington, well, maybe a little bit better, but it's not going to be summery weather down there.
They lost to Miami, their only defeat the second week of the year, 30-7, and they'll have the elements in their favor for that rematch. Under 4 minutes to go in the game, 2nd down and 6. Frank Reich, the quarterback. Carwell Gardner gets the call again and drives the pile a few yards. Elston Ridgel getting a chance for the Cardinals defensively up front, makes the tackle. Let's take a look at Phoenix. They are so happy, I'm sure, that the last 4 games are over, huh?
Yeah, and to go home, too. They finally get a chance to play at home, which is something they had done very little of. The opposite kind of problem that Buffalo has. It's so hot there early that they try and get them out of town early and give them the latter part of the schedule at home. But they are coming off a terribly vicious period of time.
And they finished that way and could be a spoiler, perhaps, against the Giants in Philadelphia in their last 2 games against NFC contenders.
Trying times for Joe Bugle.
3rd down and 2 on the 31-yard line with 3:10 remaining. Gardner not going to make it. Freddie Joe Nunn wraps him up. I want to remind you that this game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, Buffalo Bills, and the National Football League is prohibited. New Orleans trying to strengthen their wild card possibilities. They'll win again, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are mired in a slump, and they can look forward to the 49ers next week on the road. 4th and 5. Gardner. He's got the first down and more. And he stepped out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Good enough for the first down. Mitch Farrat with a good block, a gain of 14 yards.
Watch the blocking as they explode for him. Ballard pushing inside. Farrat leading. Tackle coming. Wolford from the offside. Farrat with a fine block. And Carwell showing you some good speed. Carwell Gardner exploding out of there, running over one tackler, picking up excellent yardage.
Zordich knocked him out of bounds. So here's a situation in which everyone knew, the Cardinals knew they were going to run the ball and couldn't stop him. First down on the 20. Most of this crowd is left. Gardner. And that should set up the 2-minute warning. So 2 minutes remain here at Rich Stadium, and we'll be back.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Not long ago, one of the first luminous sedans was bought by a family of 5. They said they liked the gas mileage, all the room it had, and they liked the price. Since then, the luminous sedan has quickly become the best-selling new car name in America. Apparently, a lot of people are winning with
the heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
As beneficial as self-examination is, Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But she'll discover it tomorrow, after her first mammogram, thanks in part to a new X-ray film created by DuPont that makes it safer to start mammography early. And for Mary, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
Most of the crowd is gone from Rich Stadium in Orchard, but they saw an impressive Buffalo Bills machine rolling on. They're leading Phoenix 38-14. Timeouts remaining, not a factor in this game, and Leonard Smith, the former Cardinal, enjoying it all.
Well, he said that he was not bitter about being traded. He was an all-pro at the time that he was traded, a leading tackler for 3 years, defensive captain of his team for 3 years, and told me yesterday, he said, they told me, Mr. Bidwell, Mr. Wilson told me I wouldn't be traded. He said, I was building a house. He said, I was counting on that. He said, suddenly I was on the road. Well, he has played well here in Buffalo, and I'm sure the Bills are glad to have him.
Gardner carries and still going. Well, we want to remind you that tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. If war breaks out in the Middle East, the Pentagon has a $12 billion baby that can shoot down any attacking helicopter. Sounds good, doesn't it? But it doesn't work. $12 billion, and it doesn't work. That shocking story tonight on 60 Minutes. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, and then it's the CBS Sunday movie Fatal Attraction, starring Glenn Close and Michael Douglas. That's all tonight on CBS. Chicago still with only one loss as they lead Atlanta in the fourth quarter. Kenneth Davis in it, running back on 3rd down and 2, gets the call and won't get the first down. David Bavaro on the stop as we get close to a minute remaining in the game.
Maybe time to offer a pat on the back to this Buffalo organization that doesn't seem to get as much respect as I think they deserve. A lot of people around the league, a lot of writers still sniping at them, saying, yeah, but you haven't been tested yet. Well, tested by the weather here today.
Well, we have taken a power hit here. I don't know if our audio is still there, but at one time we have lost virtually all but one of our cameras.
That's the kind of day that Joe Bugle thought he'd had, as we see everything scrambled in our visual view here.
Well, we'll give you an audio play-by-play, and the handoff is to Kenneth Davis. Davis is tackled and now bounces off the tackler, goes in for the touchdown. Kenneth Davis scores for the Buffalo Bills, bouncing off tacklers. Up on his
couple of missed tackles. Well, this game ended several minutes ago, obviously, and the Cardinals not playing the kind of football they played in the first half of this ball game by any means.
No, their shining moment was the turnover and their touchdown for a 7-0 lead, and the Bills dominated. Here is Scott Norwood. And the kick is good. 45-14. After last week shutting out the Browns 42-0. A machine, the Buffalo Bills. And their 7th win in a row will tie a club record for the second longest winning streak in a season. They won 9 in a row way back in 1964. They won in 88. They've won 7 in a row here. And coming up next for the Bills, they've got the New England Patriots right here. So they have a good chance of making it 8 in a row.
And just coming into the part of the schedule where they feel that the kind of strength they have built, a running game, the ability to play in cold weather, a very strong passing game behind Jim Kelly, all of which plays into their hands. A few moments ago, we saw Joe Bugle on the sideline talking to Timm Rosenbach, and you almost had the feeling that he was saying, what do I say now? A man who believes in being positive with his team, who wants to pick out the positives on the day, will have trouble after the first quarter finding a lot to be happy about in this ballgame.
Well, he said the biggest job is not letting this young team get crushed after defeats. He's got another big task ahead of him. And we're sorry about any of the technical difficulties, but the weather has affected a lot of things today, including including our transmission, and we apologize, but this game has been salted away for quite some time.
I don't know which job would be tougher, punting the ball or being a cameraman out there. Our technician's doing a great job of trying to keep things together under extremely adverse situation.
There's the kickoff. Picked up by Garth and Jack springs it out to the 27-yard line with 12 seconds remaining. Coming up, the New York Giants will try to end a 3-game losing streak against the Rams, including a divisional playoff loss last year, and try to hold on to an unbeaten record knowing that the 49ers play against the Dallas Cowboys later, and that's a big battle.
A little change of weather as we take you from Rich Stadium out to Los Angeles, where it'll probably be about 75 degrees when they start that ball
Where would
game.
you rather be, Merlin?
Well, hey, I grew up in this kind of weather, and I like the cold, but I think I'll like going back to Los Angeles tonight, too. It'll be warm for me tomorrow when I wake up.
"12 seconds remaining. This should be the last play. Anthony Thompson. And that will do it. The Buffalo Bills have won their 7th in a row, 8-1 on the year, continue with the roll, and for Phoenix, a 45-14.
In a game dominated by the wind, the Bills proved to be able to take advantage of the conditions extremely well.
So for Merlin Olsen, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Rich Stadium, where the final score, the Buffalo Bills 45 and the Phoenix 14. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader as the undefeated New York Giants battle the Los Angeles Rams. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
One airline works